Clock is wrong.
I have 8:35 on my computer.
Yep, that's about right. Yep. So I'll call the meeting of July 17th of the Carroll County Commissioners to order. And the first item on the agenda is non-public session. We're hiring somebody, so we need to go into non-public to do that. So I think what we'll do is go across the hall, or do you want to stay here? Any comment?
Well, we gotta go find a key if we're going across the
Yeah,
hall.
no.
Can we get one made?
Yeah. I'll make a motion that we go into non-public session under RSA 91A3, paragraph 2, A, B, and C. And if you people would just step outside the hall, it's only going to take about 5 or 10 minutes. So I'd appreciate that if you do that. I made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Babson.
No,
No?
no. I don't believe to discuss whether you want some discussion?
Commissioners.
Or what? I just don't see that whether the clerk has signed her papers or what the wage is gonna be is non-public. But anyway, go ahead, it'll be 2-1.
Commissioner
Roll
Sorensen.
call? Yes.
Commissioner Kenney, yes.
Okay. And so vote. Okay, we're back into public session. We did not seal the non-public minutes. What we did in non-public was we discussed the hiring of a new minute taker, and we hired Michelle Hamilton at the same rate as the previous minute taker was receiving. So it's now 8:45, and we'll open it up for public input. Yes, Daymond.
So about the non-public minutes that were debated, whether they were sealed or not, correctly, a couple of weeks ago, does it turn out that Asha was right, they were not sealed?
I'm sorry.
Remember a couple of weeks we had
Yes.
a debate about some non-public minutes?
Yes.
And we wanted to know, and people want to know whether the minutes were sealed or not sealed properly.
Right.
It turns out Asha was correct,
No?
that they were
Well,
not sealed.
We released them, let's put it that way, okay? They were released.
Yes.
Did you receive a copy?
I did,
Okay.
and I'm just wondering, about,
Two of us feel that they were sealed, but we released them, so that should cover the situation, okay? Anybody else, public
oh, I
input?
got a couple more.
Okay.
Sorry, what's your name,
I'm
please?
Daymond Steer with the County Delegation.
Sorry?
Daymond Steer, it's like Raymond with a D instead of an R, and Steer like the bovine. And I have a lot of practice explaining my name. Anyway, we received a letter to the editor from the former minute taker regarding Commissioner Babson. And
Did I receive a letter?
No, we
No.
did.
You did?
The County Delegation received a letter from.
Can I see that? Do you have a copy for
I
me?
can get it to you. I'm just wondering if you're aware of any problems between the minute taker and Commissioner Babson.
I know that we terminated the previous minute taker for using foul language, and she left.
And then just a couple more. The minutes that we read discuss a possible new union for the jail, and apparently it was made out of supervisors. I've never heard of a supervisors union. Can you explain to me what that's about?
We will be talking with an attorney to find out why or if that is possible for supervisors to belong to the union.
Okay.
They were here to present that information, and it's now up to the commissioners to take action on it.
And there's also a question about shift differentials and overtime, and a discussion of can we avoid a grievance?
That was given to the payroll officer to check on.
Do you have a sense of it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yep. Other public input? Yes, Mr. Brown?
As far as the non-public minutes, I think it would be it would be far more accurate to say if they were sealed properly, they would have never been released. Enough said.
Okay. Any further comment?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
as far as, Damon, what was it, your second item?
Minute taker?
No, what was your third one?
Okay, the jail.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, yes. As far as creating a new unit, why would that be in the best interest of the county commissioners to allow
My understanding, Mr. Brown,
of everyone who is running your facility? Why would you want them to be in a union? This does not make any sense to me whatsoever, because if you have all your people in charge in a union, that's giving them more protection. Now, the only thing, the thing that stands out to me here is make a grievance, get a settlement. It is not in the best interest of the county commissioners to allow the people running their facility to be, it almost seems like you're trying to push this issue of creating another union. How is this in the people of Carroll County's best interest to lose control of the people who are running your facility?
okay, let me first, Commissioner Babson wants to speak, but let me first say that the union steward or the union representative came here and just let us know that the officers, the supervisors of the jail want to join the union. Not create another union, but to join that union that is already in existence. Now, that's all I can say, because we're going to go and get some kind of a result from an attorney regarding that. Commissioner Babson.
Mr. Brown, before you get too fired up, we didn't approve it. We were just informed it was going to happen. It goes through the employees at the, we don't know any more about it than you do. They came in and said they were going to unionize. We're glad that we've heard your thoughts, and we have nothing else to say because we don't know anything about it.
According to the non-public minutes, it reads as though you wanted to make the superintendent the 10th person,
No.
which would qualify the organization of another union.
That wasn't
Read the minutes.
No, that wasn't the intent. Any further public input?
What minutes were those, Mr. Brown?
June 19th.
Those are the ones that were released,
Non-public?
non-public. Yep.
See if I get them in here.
I have a copy here. Let me read it.
Well, regardless, we're not in a position to make any comments at this time regarding that. All we were informed was that the supervisors wanted to become part of the union of the jail. That's all we know.
Okay.
We were informed of that, and it was properly done, and now it's up to the commissioners to look at an attorney which we will vote on later, to get an attorney's comments regarding that, whether we should fight it, or whether we shouldn't, or whatever, okay?
But I think it's still in the best interest of the Board of Commissioners to retain control.
Okay. Any further comment, public input? No. Yes.
2 weeks ago, I think it was, Commissioner Babson asked if he could go downstairs and see the non-public meeting minute notes in Commissioner Kenney's file cabinet, and I was wondering how that went.
Commissioner Babson?
I was unable to see them.
One second. second. I have.
I don't know whether they were there or not. I was unable to see them.
So you went down and you weren't able to see
No.
them down there? Okay.
No.
Thank you.
Any further public comment?
What is that, please?
If not, then we'll go into our regular meeting, and we're running a little ahead of time, but we have minutes to approve.
Yeah, yeah.
The minutes of July 3rd was tabled until this week, so could we act on those first?
Yeah. My set is downstairs on the desk. Can we do July 10th first?
We're looking at July
From
3rd.
last week.
July 3rd minutes.
Okay, do you have any corrections in July 3rd minutes? Because
No.
mine is on the desk. Do you have
There was
any-
some corrections that were made at the time we started to discuss it.
The minutes were all, that was the one where the minute taker had the young lady that just got her nursing license, going back to being an
LPN.
learning to be an LPN after
Right.
she'd become a nurse, licensed nurse. That's paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right. Were there any other
On
corrections?
page 1. Yes, I corrected what was, what I had to say about Commissioner Kenney's letter to the paper.
You have a correction to that?
Yeah.
And what is your
Called it
correction?
demoralizing. I said it was belittling, demeaning, and I can't even read my own writing.
Okay.
Then on page 3, it's John Daniel, not Dan.
Okay. Anything further?
Well, there was something about, it looks to me like on page 3, Commissioner Sorensen, that was the question whether he was an auditor or a certified public accountant. Commissioner Kenney, he is not, because who are they talking about? Now, John Daniel or the gentleman from Mr.
No,
Lyford?
he's
or
talking
whatever
about
his name- John Lyford.
Lyford.
I'll put his name in there. And I think that was it.
You have any corrections, Asha, that you remember?
No, I think I make some minor corrections, but I don't have it with me.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the, now, wait a minute.
Sorry.
Do I hear a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve them
Okay,
as corrected.
as corrected
Second,
and seconded.
so. we
Any
will
further
Put in
discussion?
the motion, July 3rd minutes.
All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. Did you vote?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I didn't. No, but the answer is yes. And I didn't vote,
Aye.
but I approve the minutes.
Then the minutes have been approved.
That's correct.
As corrected.
Mr.
Okay?
Chairman?
Yep.
I can see where the three of us sitting here would interpret what was said about the union differently than what's here in the minutes, to the credit.
You want to discuss that further?
No, I just want to say, I'll read what appears to be the confusing factor. The commissioners responded that they would like to negotiate this subject at a later date to see whether the superintendent could be let in or join the union, and that would make 10. They would need a letter of intent from HR and would negotiate within 120 days. That's how, what the discussion was, Mr. Brown, but that isn't how we interpreted it. We were not going to walk into a union right away, and
But can you understand how
I can understand why you would be confused.
it kind of appears that way?
Yes, I agree with you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, so,
July 3rd, we've done July 10th.
Yep, that was from last week. Any corrections?
I have no corrections.
I have none.
Steve,
Do I hear a motion to approve July 10th?
Point order.
he said that he has.
We're holding this off, okay?
This
This
is about
is
the minutes.
Commissioners' meeting. You can have your public input at the end if you want.
But this is about the minutes and a correction that I would like.
The correction that you'd like.
Correct. It says Sorensen referenced an article that was printed in the County Delegation on July 9th. You referred to it as an article, but it was actually a letter to the editor.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the July 10th?
Correct. July 10th minutes.
Well, we were just going to start the July 10th. Okay.
Just want to make sure.
Okay, here you go.
That's correct.
Okay. July 10th.
So you close on July.
Could I hear a motion to approve the minutes for July 10th?
Okay, we are going to put in what Daymond said,
Right.
a letter to the editor.
Mm-hmm.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from July 10, 2013 as corrected.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in support of the motion to approve July 10th minutes, say aye.
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 Aye, that's so voted. Okay. Do we have any reports to be made? Anybody attend any meetings? Or go ahead.
Yeah. Mrs. Seamans just had a question about notes. I just want to read the law. If you look at the 91A, it said preliminary drafts, notes, and memoranda and other documents not in their final form cannot be disclosed, circulated, or available to a quorum or the majority of the members of a public body. So what you basically can store is if we have the minutes and they are approved.
Okay. You have anything to report?
Only that they put up about 600 or 700 bales of hay last night.
Okay. Okay, at this time, I'll call on Howie, 9 o'clock for a public,
Do we want to defer our initial time to Bob Murray? I think he has a quick matter.
okay. Bob Murray, you are on at 9:15, but we'll
Thank you.
adjust the agenda. Go
Thank
ahead.
you for the yield.
Michelle, he
I
is
hope
our
to make this short and
maintenance,
sweet.
head of maintenance.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Okay.
I'm just here to ask on, about the pallet contract, if you've had a chance to review it, and if you are acceptable to the terms of the pallet contract.
Did you email the contract to us?
Yeah,
Yes,
give it to us.
last week.
You
Had it
emailed it?
last week.
Do you want another copy?
I didn't got your email then.
Do you have any comments, Commissioner Babson?
No, I think that my concern is covered here in writing, that they break down what it is for a small load, for less than 30 tons, 27 tons. I'm fine with it.
Do you have any comments?
We had this contract the last time. What is different now?
Just the price.
Okay.
The terms of the contract are the same.
Everything is the same? Okay.
Yes.
And what was the price difference again?
$19 a ton.
It's $19 a ton more?
Yes.
Any further discussion? Is there a motion to accept the contract?
I'll make a motion, we accept the contract for the pellets from Sandrite Corporation of Greenfield, Massachusetts for 400 tons of pellet, and referencing their quote of June 3rd, 2013.
I'll second it. Any further discussion? All those in support of the motion say aye. Aye. Then so voted.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Is
No,
that
that's it.
unanimous, Mr. Chairman?
You voted yes?
Yeah, I voted.
It's unanimous.
All in favor.
Okay, thank you. Just make sure that I get a forwarded signed copy when you're ready.
Who need to
You
sign?
don't have to do this minute, just make sure that I get a copy of it.
Okay.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Yep,
Appreciate your time.
thank you. Okay, Howie. Thank you for making that comment, Howie, that we put Bob on. He needs to get back to work.
Well, exactly. I didn't think, he promised me that he would be free.
Thank you, Alan.
One of those to pass along, and this one for the chairman. We're here for the sole purpose of presenting our request to you for the ability to upgrade or to replace software. The request was made last week for a request for proposal and for clarification on the Dube Trust.
Okay, one point of order.
Yeah.
We have a new minute taker, so everyone, before you speak, can you please state your name and where you're from, so she can put it in?
If I can introduce you, I'm Howard Chandler, I'm the administrator at Mountain View.
Thank you.
Next to me is Rebecca Mason, Director of Nursing Services. And next to her at the end is Paula Coates, Business Office Manager for Mountain View. And did you get a packet too?
I didn't get a packet, no.
There should be an extra one.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, didn't I give you two?
A what?
Didn't I give you two of the package?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
2 of the package of what?
Here's one. You get that too.
Oh, yes. So I have an extra one. You want to have one? Give one to me.
So we went out to 3 qualified bidders, each of whom we've actually been negotiating with for quite a period of time. And by way of explanation, this is not a rushed, or even though we're coming to you for an early decision, it's the result of an extended process that actually began last fall. But through that process, we found there's an opportunity, if we act now instead of later, to realize a savings of over $30,000. What we found, and you'll see on page 2 is the one-page summary. But page 3 is probably the more informative. It's a spreadsheet breaking down the 3 proposals. In order to give you a true apples for apples comparison, we equalized it based by adding to the proposals that didn't include some components, what that cost would be if it were added, and to equalize it. And what we found is that the low bidder is also the bidder that provides the most comprehensive package, and the one that we would recommend to you, and that would be NTT, representing an initial savings of almost $10,000 plus a reduced monthly expense. Now, we're glad to go through this in whatever detail that you would like, both Paula from the financial side and Becky from the clinical side.
Go ahead, Commissioner Babson.
Either I missed it, Howie, or you didn't say. These costs that you have here, in columns 2 and 3, are they prices that you've received recently from these people?
They're attached.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, in fact, all the proposals
Oh,
are attached.
on the back, okay.
The only thing that I
Thank you.
neglected to attach, and that was by oversight, and Commissioner Sorensen has that, is an excerpt from the Dube Trust, which clearly states that there are, unlike many of the things, and I actually knew Ralph in the Dube, and Ralph was very specific. In much of that trust, there were strings attached. There are no strings attached to their gift to Mountain View Nursing Home.
It just says 20%
20%,
of what was in his estate
correct. But as you look
went
at-
to the Mountain View Nursing Home.
Correct, and that's now held as a CD.
Yeah.
In many of their other, though, sections there, you are right to raise the question, because in many of their other bequests in that same estate, they put strings on it that it's for particular masses, for particular this and particular that, but Mountain View is not so restricted.
Okay.
What does that mean again? It's held in a CD, sir?
Their gift, which is now some $249,000, is held by Kathy Gary, not by Mountain View, but by the county, invested in a CD.
Look at that. So
Howie,
That's how his.
really doesn't have
Dube
much to
Trust
do with
Fund
it
was
except reading the
distributed.
trust. Was he a doctor?
No, Ralph? The
No,
oil
Ralph
guy, I think.
Oil guy.
The oil person. Well, he certainly was generous to hospitals.
Yeah,
More than generous.
they had no children, and so the money they had, they distributed to the charities that were close to the heart. Edna was a nurse, retired nurse, so I think,
That may be.
I'm not aware that she ever worked for Mountain View, but I know that she was a nurse, and it must have been close to her heart,
Well, he certainly were generous.
definitely.
I believe she was a volunteer of Mountain View.
Mrs. Bean was. Eloise Bean Trust, I know that on the plaque notes her as being a long-term volunteer, and could well be Edna as well.
So they'll leave money behind for a lot of various charities.
It is our hope as part, and it's outlined, briefly in the summary, to generate as much savings as we can from the current budget. Some costs this updated software will actually save us money in a number of areas, specifically upgrade costs that we would have otherwise incurred, but more specifically in terms of net true savings. We're obligated to buy file cabinets, fireproof file cabinets, budgeted somewhere in the order of about $3,000 that won't be necessary because of this. We are required, starting at the end of next year, starting in 2015, which we need to implement next year, to have some of this updated software in place anyway. So this isn't just to enhance and improve, this is to replace software that's over a decade old, does not integrate. Presently our financial software and our clinical software does not communicate with each other. This brings everything together the way it should. And now with, at least anticipated with the upgrade to our servers, our hardware will be able to support all this.
So the bottom line was 38,000?
38,390.
What is sandbox training?
Sandbox
I
training
mean, I can think of
is,
some definition, but
sandbox training that they include with that means that you have to set somebody in front of a computer and they have to learn by a webinar. It is not hands-on, there is no one there to show you. You literally are sitting in front, learning off of
Playing
a
with the
computer
sand.
screen. Yeah.
We spoke with the administrator of Coos County, the three of us, by telephone conference, and while they're not all that pleased with how the implementation of that software, not the one that we're recommending, but Point Click Care went for them. So they had all kinds of horror stories.
do you have a name for that person?
That's Louise Belanger.
Do you mind if anybody calls her?
Well, I think she'd be pleased. She's the administrator at Coos. And I always get confused, because Coos has two. It's not West Stewartstown, so it must be, I'm trying to think where Louise.
She's in
She must be
Berlin. Berlin.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, so she's the new
she's the administrator
administrator, okay. But she's administrator of the nursing home.
of the nursing home. Not the county administrator,
Okay.
but the nursing home administrator.
How long have they had it? Any idea?
They implemented this year.
This year?
Earlier this year. They're still in the process of implementing. In fact, she was relating how they've had to push them very hard. But as it turns out, even though their price is better than the original price they quoted us when we initiated discussion some months ago, it still ends up being more expensive than what we're recommending to you for an upgrade.
Okay, the difference with Point Click Care was $9,485. And the difference between that and Cerner New was $29,115. And the update was $38,390, you're right. And we have a monthly cost on top of that?
$14.70 for NTT, which we recommend. Point Click Care is a minimum of $17.41. We really have only rough estimates of what it would take for the added modules. So we know it's $17.41 plus. So it's already $300 more expensive. It would, if we got the modules that matched the specs, cost even more.
Why, Howie, or what does the monthly cost cover? I have Microsoft on my computer. I had to pay the original fee. I don't pay them a monthly charge.
It's partly licensing fee and partly a continuing education and support fee. So it's web-based so that they continually upgrade it.
At their cost or our cost?
Well, we're paying for it through the monthly fee.
We pay monthly fees on them now.
Okay.
Now, you're not gonna get me to say that I think that it's fair, right, or good, but it is the universal practice, unfortunately. Not only are they selling you something up front, but they continue to collect the rent for it after you buy it.
Becky said that we're already paying, how much are we paying now?
Roughly $6,000 a year
$6,000.
for updates, and
And
that
this
doesn't
is-
include training. This figure includes unlimited support, unlimited, if we have any questions or if we have issues with the system, we can call.
But we're paying 6,000 now, and this is 1,400?
Right. But we don't have unlimited support. If anything happens, we get charged by the hour now.
Oh,
We
okay.
charge
So-
$70 an hour.
It
So
is
we
our-
don't use it very often.
It is our hope that after the first year, we'll actually reduce our monthly expense because we'll be able to drop down our support level. But in the beginning, in order to ensure success, no sense spending the money and not getting its full value, we wanted to be sure that we built in enough money for support. But if things go well, and it should, that number should actually go down in the future.
So I guess I'm confused, Howard. The $1,470 is a monthly charge, and you're telling us if you do well the first year, it'll go down?
Correct.
What would it be if we started off with a go-down figure?
It would be, what this includes is them coming in and training your individuals. Unlimited training and support. So if we've got somebody that is not getting it, we can't get something to work, we can pick up the phone. If we take that as go down now and try to inload this upgrade system, every time we have a problem, it will cost us $90 an hour to call them.
Okay.
Or if they have to come out, it will be $1,200 plus expenses to have them come out and train.
Okay. So Beck, what happens if you get 2 or 3 new employees all of a sudden at one time, and you've got to train them? Will they come out for that, or is this training just to come out for some new portion of their program?
This training is to set us up on the new programming.
Okay.
Once we get set up, and the electronic record, this also covers for the electronic medical record, the EMAR, the EDOC, everything. Once we're set up, we'll be able to do webinars and stuff like that, like we do with other things. We will have train the trainers, they will actually train the trainers so that we can train any new staff that come into that program. But the first year when you're setting up, unless you're gonna take it in, let me say a nurse's note, unless you wanna take the standard nurse's note that's used and it doesn't work, there's nothing specific to your building. It creates a lot of problems. What they will help us do is make everything specific to Mountain View. They will help us set up so that our nurses' notes meet our needs. They're not just a random out-of-the-box nurse's note. The progress note isn't random out of the box. It'll help with doctor's dictation. They can set up a dictation format for each individual doctor based on what their needs are to see their residents, so they can come in and dictate. All that is included in that $1,400 a month fee to help us with that. Once we're set up that way, you train the trainers, we'll be able to do it ourselves.
Okay. Can I ask more?
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman? Becky, will we have to run a parallel system like we did with Crohn's? You'll get the August 1st and it'll be the new program, or what we already have is just a slight upgrade?
No, we can
or-
actually, when they do the upgrade, we can actually say which areas we want to start training on first. They'll do the upgrade it'll be complete, so if we wanted to start everything the next day, we could.
So you're not gonna have to run a couple other programs
Well,
along with
we
it?
have Care Tracker, which integrates with this already, which is really nice. We've already been integrated with them, so, down the road, if we don't want to integrate and they bring out a new module and it's easier to go one complete system, we might do that. But right now, we're already integrated between our Care Tracker for our LNAs and this. The only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't integrate enough that it'll put it into a nurse's note. It will when we get done with this upgrade. So anything the LNA puts in will automatically go into the electronic medical record, even if they're using Care Tracker to do it. We don't have that now.
Unlike Kronos, this will be a complete new system that'll cut over instantly, but included in this cost, they actually do the migration of the old data. And part of why we got a good price, and part of why we choose this, it's actually an expansion of the existing system, so we're highly confident that that migration will be as seamless as possible. So we're not gonna be doing the parallel books, doing it the old way and the new way. This'll bring it in all at once. Maybe different modules will come in at different times, but it won't.
But you won't be running another one parallel to it when.
No, and different departments will be coming in at different times, like medical records could be trained on how to scan into e-docs while we're still working downstairs setting up a nurse's note. So you can actually use one portion of this module without having the entire module set up. So medical records could start scanning in e-docs while we're still working on how we want our nurse's notes to look, but they will be in our system where people can access them.
Could you tell me what pharmacy is on, you have training pharmacy and hardware? Is that something that tells, the records show what a person takes for meds, or?
Pharmacy is actually an interface. You can get sophisticated enough, which we'd like to do, that if the doctor writes an order, they can do what's known as e-scribe. They can write an order from their office, and it automatically shoots it into our system, puts it on the MAR, the electronic medical record, and sends an order to pharmacy so it will be filled. So that's why you have the pharmacy connection.
So that's why it's a separate portion of the program.
In NTT, it's included in their portion, and the other, in CERN, it was included. In Click Care, you have to buy the interface, and that would be the cost of the interface for it.
So there's not going to be any additions. Once this is purchased, that's going to be the end of it, except for the monthly fee. You're not going to have to buy any more updates. This is going to satisfy everything that you want to do.
This is complete software. The only opportunity we'll have afterwards, and it'll be optional, is whether or not we take advantage of the wireless system we already have in place and begin introducing tablets. But we see that as a second phase that's not at all necessary at this point.
Okay. When would it be effective? When would we be on the system?
Well, here's the opportunity. If we're able to reach an agreement by the end of July, I believe they'd probably be looking at a cutover or plan somewhere September, October.
October, November right now.
October, November. So this would be relatively soon.
Okay.
Howie, why such a push? And I guess the bait is to save $30,000.
Correct.
Well, are they having a slow summer or what?
Well, there are two things that contribute to that. It is a slow summer. There is no slower time for software sales than summer in general. But we're also talking about people who are managing budget cycles. You know, people have calendar fiscal years. The money was approved in January. It's been spent. This is the slow time for a reason. And it's also because next year they know business is going to be busy because of the change in federal regulations that are going to force people to upgrade their systems. A lot of people are deferring. So people that otherwise need to replace their software are going to put it off for as long as they can. So this is an opportunity. We were surprised. We were amazed. Near as I can tell, Point-Click Care came way down in their price. When I had talked to them months ago, it was much closer to $60,000 than to the 47 they have here. We were very impressed. So we thought it was just NTT that was providing a great price. Cerner has not moved their price at all, but Point-Click Care was a refreshing competition.
The other thing is they're combining companies now. You're going to see less and less companies able to provide the service. Cerner bought up CareTracker. So CareTracker is no longer in existence. Cerner isn't existent. NTT used to be Vista Keen and NTT. They bought up Vista Keen. Point-Click Care bought up Matrix. Not Matrix. AccuCare or something like that. So all these companies are offering their existing companies where they have software in place the ability to upgrade now before they have to go out and get all the other companies that are going to come in that aren't associated with them. These are the three major companies out there right now. But
Any-
they've all bought up littler companies, they're offering their people, because that's what, when we talked to the other county home, we went, wow, this is a really low price. And they said they got a low price because they were the other company that got bought up by Point Click Care. So they're trying to get their existing companies in line, so when the rush comes in of everybody having electronic records, they're already set up because they've been their customers. So I guess if you want to say they're giving you a chance, since you've been a loyal customer, to get in at a cheaper deal, that's what they're offering you.
Any other county have NTT?
I don't know.
They do.
Not that we're aware of.
Who did you use for references?
For Point Click Care, we used, we checked with Coos County, and also yesterday I met with the administrator at Webster at Rye, so.
Met with who?
And I've got the veterans, because through the DON meeting, I've been hearing about Point Click Care through the Veterans Administration and Rise, the Veterans Home in Tilton, and again, the DON from, Coas, because she has had to spend a lot of time monitoring and building her program.
How about NTT? I know we've had it, but have we talked to anybody that's put in the new upgrades?
As far as you know,
Don't think we ought to?
nobody's upgraded? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm not saying that. I said, I guess because we're comfortable with NTT. I mean, we could go talk to other people, but we've been through all the presentations of NTT, and it's not that much different than we have now. What I do like about it is, for NTT, for someone like me, who had to take over as an MDS coordinator for how many months? I could publish and everything through that program. I did not, it wasn't so complicated that me, with my very limited MDS training, had to say, wait a minute, we can't do anything with this program, we're dead in the water. It's very window-based. Anybody that's used to Windows, it's very easy, it's very picturesque. There's not a lot of questions when you bring it up. It is one of the better user-friendly programs I've ever seen, but I don't know, we'd have to go and see. Vista Keen used to be the gold standard around, and Paula's had the financials for years. She sat through her presentation on the financial side. Our screens are not changing that much, we're just adding to them. So it's not like we're even going to have to start with a foreign system where you've got all new configurations that you're staring at. It's basically, they've just built in what they already had.
Do you know what system Coos County had before they went with,
I don't.
Aftercare.
AccuCare?
Yeah, got built,
But they got bought out.
bought out by Point Click Care.
Oh, so that's why they went with,
Yes.
That's why they got the good deal, and that's why they're giving their good deals right now. They're doing what they call a rapid rollout. Here's your software. And that's why their DON's spending a lot of time building all their paperwork.
If we were to purchase this program, it would cover all of the requirements that have come into place in 2015. Every one of them. We're not going to come back and.
Well, we can't, I
6
mean, as
months
long
later
as
and
the
say if it-
requirements don't change, we
Well,
will
that's what
meet
I'm saying.
requirements.
As long as they don't change, you'll
Yep.
be covered.
You'll have your EMAR, your E-TAR, your treatment record, your medication record, all your nurses' notes. You'll actually have an integration note where physical therapy and everything can write, dietitian can write right in the same record, so it's a running record. And if we can get the doctors on board, we'll have e-scribe, which will be great. The doctors will be able to dictate their progress notes right into this record.
Now, I don't want to promise you this, but it is our hope that by having our record keeping be more professional and current and updated, that we're going to be able to see increased billings. We think there are opportunities for Medicare billing that we might very well be missing, that this system actually identifies areas that you should be looking at. I mean, it has its own software matrix that points out, based on how other facilities are billing, when you have these presentations, what you should be looking at, and when you're the norm, when you're above the norm, and when you're below. So we really see that it's going to help out Lisa Thomas, our new MDS coordinator, in being able to target exactly areas that we might look at or should be looking at for enhanced revenue.
credits of $7,350. What, why did they give us a credit?
That's actually for deferred monthly fees. NTT will not be charging us the $14.70 per month until January.
This is the built-in cost, you would get that.
Right, it's already built in.
It's already, so the total monthly cost won't start until January.
Right.
In that $38.90, it's already built in all our support services and
Through
stuff
the end
that
of
we
this
need
year.
through the end of this year.
Mm-hmm, okay.
January 2014.
Yep.
Hardware, it says included. Is that because we've purchased it with the initial cost?
It's because we already have the hardware in place. We have
Oh,
our
hardware, of
kiosks,
course,
we have
okay,
our.
so we don't need to buy any
No.
new.
Unless we go with Point Click Care, who insists on using their own proprietary hardware for their stations. And we don't see any reason why we can't continue to use the Care Tracker hardware that we presently have.
If we continue with Cybertron, will he be able to maintain it if it has to be maintained?
The hardware, yes,
Yep.
because this is a window-based program. It's a true window-based program, so even if we go down, we should be able to come over here and sign on. It's an actual, you actually access it as a window-based program, not what we're doing now, which is a dial-in direct program. It's a window-based program, so if that whole system goes down, Paula could still work from home. I could still, we could get tablets where as long as we had an internet access somewhere, our nurses could do their nurses' notes and stuff. Whereas Point Click Care has to have a kiosk integration. You can go tablet, but they will only work with an iPad. Our NTI can work with other pads. Point Click Care can only work with the iPad.
Does training include anything that John might have to learn?
There's not much he has to learn. Actually, now, they tie into our system now and can check what we're doing. He gives them, he'll
He's
give them the
already-
access and
He's
stuff,
already-
so, and he knows about the upgrades they've been going. I mean, we've had minimal upgrades because we actually have a web portion of it because we had to, because it's the only way we could submit our MDSs. So, it's only going to expand what we've got, and it really doesn't change anything.
Will this mean that we also will have to, or will it be necessary to purchase more iPads or something similar to it because to make it easier for the girls?
Until we go into the electronic medication administration sheet, we can use what we have. We will start looking at next year's budget saying, are we gonna put a tablet on this med card, that med card treatment? Right now, they can use the computers that we have. We'll just be expanding that, but that will be included in budgets, like our computer line budgets and stuff like that. Instead of buying towers that sit on the floor, we'll be buying tablets.
Okay.
John is familiar with this system, and he's been included in the discussions, right?
Yes.
The primary thing that he has to do is in terms of, is planning for the appropriate storage, and so he's been very well aware of that, trying to be sure that he's actually suggested a fairly robust situation where there'd be two servers instead of one, just to provide extra backup, but he seems to be very comfortable with the whole process.
So he's not going to come to us and add on more cost for the system?
No, he should have very little to do with the implementation of the system.
Okay.
Doing the server upgrade that he's already contracted for is critical for this, but that's already planned for.
And if under his suggestion, as it should be anyway, you should have a repetitive server somewhere anyway. So is it in the budget for this year? No. Could it be in a couple of years saying you want a secondary server? Yes, because if we had a secondary server, when we went down, I mean, he had 2 hard drives go down, which is highly unusual on a server.
Yeah.
If you had a secondary, we would have just kicked into that secondary. We wouldn't have been down a week waiting for parts and stuff to come in.
Okay. Okay. Any further questions?
And yeah,
Go ahead.
and any record storing that we do, it guaranteed that it'll be there for some ungodly amount of time?
It's on our, we're storing it on our site with whatever John
You're doing it
uses
over
for
here,
backup.
but is that absolutely secure so that you can retrieve it if you have to, if you have a breakdown?
John has restored so far, it's whatever he uses for a backup to our serving system. I mean, and at an expense, NTT would store it off, but right now, we're storing it on our system.
What
And
would be the disadvantage of having NTT store it?
an increased cost of about $10,000 right now.
A year? Is that, considering the consequences if we were to lose both service or lose the material,
Well, we had
would
the-
$10,000 not be a good investment?
No, because he's got the cloud backup. Before you had the cloud, that would have been an understandable recommendation, but now that you have the cloud, it's an off-site web, it's
Right,
cloud.
but we're-
So they can load us back in.
Oh,
And he
okay.
can load us back in, and any documents that are in there can be loaded back in now because you have the
Okay.
cloud.
How many people are going to be on the system for security reasons?
You mean staff-wise?
Yeah.
Maximum, maybe, I don't know what our total employment is.
Now, for security reasons, though, some people will only have access to their section.
Right.
Right.
Activities will only have access to activity section. Some will have broader. So there's a lot of security in confidentiality protection built in.
This actually is more secure than what you have right now, because you can limit who has access to what, whereas now somebody can pull down a record and, and literally, they go through and find their part. Well, if they see something along their part. This, you can get down to the LNAs will only be able to see vital signs and weights. That's built in as it's no different than Cronus. You set people up with what securities they have and what they can look at and what they can't look at.
We believe it's going to have greater security because it'll actually track who's been accessing. It'll actually digitally date, time, and stamp, who made the entry or made any changes to the entry. So it actually is much more protected data digitally than it is with the paper method that we're presently using.
And that's actually going to be required by 215. Hospitals have had to do that for at least 5 years now. Is that if you came to me as a DPOA of a resident and said, I want to know who's been in that record, we have to be able to prove that. So we would print this out, you would have it, and you could see every person who ever accessed that record, what time they accessed it, and what portion of the record they accessed it.
What about someone that's just nosing around?
We would.
Is that
you
filtered
run-
out?
But that's part of the security built into the law, is that you have to run periodical checks on records to make sure that's not happening.
Okay.
Something
We
that
can't do that
now.
right now, unless we
can't.
manually do it, no.
Any further questions?
Yes, if we move forward with the system, how long does it take to implement it before it's
Is that
all
October,
up and running?
November?
They would install the software October, November.
Okay.
We would start with our two major systems, which would be Paula's, her financial, whatever training she wanted to obtain on that, get going. And we would work with my MDS coordinator to make sure she's up and going. From there, we would probably start looking between her and the nurses to figure out how we can design the forms for the best nurses note. Because the LNAs right now are putting into Care Tracker, which will import to this. And then the last two things you want to do, probably the next would be the treatment, Cardex, and then you go into medications, because medications is extremely big. Would we go in all at once? No, we would probably start mountain by mountain to see how it works, because you really want the bugs worked out of any medication program before you go wide. So I see us up and totally running probably in 4 to 5 months. If we want to spend more time with the notes and stuff to make them really good, we can adapt, but we want to start, you don't want to take, from previous electronic medical records, you don't want to take the stock shelf one, because once it's in there and you start it, you usually can't change it very easy. So I don't think it's going to take long to roll it through. We've already started a lot of prep work. The MDSs now, most of the people are doing them right online. We're not printing out the 43 sheets of paper anymore for people to hand fill and the MDS clerk to manually put it in. They're actually going in the computer and filling out their portions. So we're prepping everybody now for when we start going with computerized. Small steps, but it's working out well.
Okay.
Paula, the financials, is that compatible with our office downstairs?
I do everything by journal entry. I give them the figures. It's not
But your computer can talk with them?
talk with ones. No, they
No.
never have.
So you're still doing it by hand?
Right. I balance everything over there, and then I give them the journal entries to input over here.
Okay. Go ahead.
Becky, over the years, seen a lot of increased costs in add-ons or new programs or new whatever. Are we at their mercy if we go with their program and they get an update? Or do we have some idea of what it's gonna cost us up front?
This cost, we put in all the modules we foreseeably need.
And what happens if they wanna upgrade one of their modules?
No, the upgrade is included.
Oh, it
So
is?
if they upgrade, that's included in that 1470.
So that's what's covering, that's, the 1470 is covering
Right,
anything that may,
yes.
and the training of for the upgrade.
The upgrades with NTT, what's sort of nice about it is it doesn't change much. It's really a behind-the-scene upgrade. They may upgrade, but what you're actually dealing with, you don't see much change in it at all. And that's what I mean. It's one of the more user-friendly programs I've seen, because for somebody to be able to come in with no point-click care, I know from my previous job, is a little bit touchy to work with. For somebody to be able to come in, even our MDS coordinator, within me sitting down with her for a half an hour showing her how I learned it, she's been able to keep the MDS program running with no issues whatsoever. She's been able to go in, look under help, design some stuff in there that we need. So this is a very, very friendly system, which you really want if you have a lot of people that need to use a computer system. But when we looked at it, Paula looked at it too, there's some modules in here that will make her job a lot easier and get rid of some of her file cabinets. We looked at the modules, how far out did we want to go? Did we want the integration with physical therapy so that Paula's getting her information from the physical therapy, we're getting ours? We did. So this is a pretty complete package across the board. We shouldn't see anything unless they figure out a way to do it for us, module, completely. It's pretty complete and should last us for a good, at least 4 to 5 years until they change the regulations again.
Okay, if you look at the cost to maintain it, you said $14.70 a month. That comes out
Starting in January.
to $17,640 a year.
Mhm.
And we're paying $6,000 presently?
Mhm. But we're saying we don't think we're gonna have to use that for an entire year. That is unlimited support. When you see the 1741 on point-click care and you see the 1858 on Cerna, that is only for software updates, that's no support. So every time you call point-click care or you call Cerna, it's $90 to $100 an hour. And if you have to bring them up because you can't get it over through the phone, then that means you're paying their travel expenses, their hotel expenses, and that $90 to $100 an hour.
And this company that we deal with is out of Washington?
NTT, yeah. Because again, they bought up their smaller companies and they're headquartering themselves. Cerna, I believe, is out of Ohio.
Keith, who I spoke was out of New York.
What happened to page 8?
You didn't get page 8?
No?
Oh, no, that's what was missing.
Way out.
Because the other stuff is not like
Well, point from here is supposed to be a 2-page.
that.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the breakdown for the 19,000. It had the initial installation fee, then it had the setup for clinical setup for the page you're missing. That's what came out to the night. Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's questions answered?
Yep.
Asha, you all set?
Yep.
Okay, do I hear a motion then to accept the purchase of the
Mr.
new
Chairman?
equipment?
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
I know we gotta get it done. We're gonna say 30,000, but I would like to do this next week because this print is literally so small I can't read it. And I'd like to get a copy of it big enough that these old eyes can see it. I don't see anything wrong with it. And as it stands right now, I favor it, but I'd like to be able to.
That page right there?
Well, that's one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I get new glasses and they were worse than my last pair.
So how many pages would you like?
Just 6,
6 and
6,
7?
7. They'd like to throw the mysterious number 8 in and 9. And then I'd be prepared to vote next week.
Is there a problem with that? You have until the end of the month? These figures are good?
I think it's the 30th, I'd have to double check, I think it's
I
the
think it's the
30th.
30th.
You said the end of the month, so
Yeah, I
it gives
think it's
us
the
another
30th.
week anyway.
I think it's the 30th.
I just like to be sure, this is a lot of money. Now, last question, how are you going to, where in the budget are you gonna take these funds out of?
We've recommended that we'll generate savings, that we'd like to generate savings out of this year's budget between equipment purchases that we don't have to make, file cabinets and the like, of about $10,000, and that the balance come from the Dube fund.
And the balance being roughly $20,000?
Not to exceed $35,000 is how we've couched it, because we don't know exactly what savings we're gonna be able to have. So we hope it's gonna be, we'd like to have the $10,000 worth of savings, but I think we've requested
35.
not to exceed $35,000 from the Dube fund. The goal being so as not to affect the amount that's raised by taxes and not to request a supplemental appropriation.
Okay?
Well, yes, it is, but, you know, I really have a problem with something that's left to the nursing home to the good of everybody there, and to use it up. I mean, this really should be, as far as I'm concerned, a very legitimate capital expense that we should take it out of, but I'm one of three.
Well, I raised that question last week, I
Yes, you
think.
did.
As to, but there's no restrictions on the Dube Trust Fund, or Dube Fund.
Except that there's a hole at the bottom of the pit. I mean, there's a bottom.
When
to
it's
the bottom
gone,
of
it's
the pit.
gone.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree, it ought to be a budgeted amount, but we'll talk about that some more.
I think that will still, maybe not direct, but indirect affect the residents, because it needs to be more efficient. And it is also their medical records and all the medicines and everything what they're getting is done more efficient, so they will also benefit from this.
Okay, to close the issue, we will look at it next week and approve it,
In
or
larger
disapprove it.
print.
What's that?
In larger print.
In larger print.
Can I pick one up today or tomorrow, just in larger print, so I can look at it, please?
Thank you. You did a good job for
Thank you, Commissioner.
presenting the information. Okay, I'd like to bring up an item that may have been raised regarding union contracts. I would like to be able to, or someone on this board would like to be able to call an attorney to get a what do I want to call it? Regarding the union, we have some people that are saying, you know, is it just one commissioner that sits on the negotiations along with the HR and along with the department head? Or is it two commissioners, or is it three commissioners? I don't know the legalities of that. I don't know, Wynette, if you know that or not. But if we call an attorney that has done that before with other counties, I have not seen any RSAs or anything that would say it's limited to one. In the past, since I've been here 12 years and a lot before that, it's always been one county commissioner sitting on that negotiating team. And that county commissioner then comes back and explains to the other two commissioners as to what was agreed upon. They then vote to whether to accept that or not. And I know in one case, when I negotiated, the other two commissioners didn't agree with it. They felt more money should be given to whatever department it was, and I had to go back and negotiate, because when I went back, it was easier to negotiate because it was an increase in wages. But that's the way they felt, so I had to do that. But I think we need some clarification, and maybe HR ought to be doing this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that would be wise. But I'd like to know also if it's only one commissioner that can negotiate, can the other two go into the room and sit in the background and listen to the conversation? We ultimately make the decision on the contract. Can we not participate, but at least listen?
Okay.
We'd like to be able to participate, but I don't know what the laws are.
I know that came up at the delegation meeting too. A delegate, and the motion was that no, I guess it was an RSA. It was done in Concord, I believe, that a delegation member could sit in on the negotiation.
Oh,
But I
Representative
don't-
McCarthy put it in.
But I don't think it passed.
I have some, I don't know.
I don't know.
about it.
So,
I
as our
thought-
new HR director, would you check to see the procedures as to whether we're following them correctly, or should the other two commissioners be involved at the early stage? Okay? I see no problem with the Board of Commissioners looking at the union contracts and saying, this is what we would like to do, and then whoever that commissioner is that negotiates would try to follow that and keep the other two involved. We haven't decided who's going to be the commissioner that'd be negotiating.
You're talking about a jail?
I'm talking about all three contracts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We have all three contracts up this year, so.
Okay.
And we've been informed, there was a letter on my desk regarding the sheriff's union, and we've been informed about the jail and the nursing home also. Okay. They have to send us a letter saying that they
Want to negotiate?
want to negotiate, yeah, when the union contract is up. Okay, so I'll back off and not call the attorney, but if you would check to see the process, and let's see if we can put something in writing so that from now on, other commissioners will know what it's about. And would you also check regarding the jail supervisors as to what action the Board of Commissioners should take regarding the jail supervisors belonging to that union, whether we should proceed or what direction we should take, okay?
Or, Mr. Chairman, even if it's our responsibility at all, I mean, the labor law, maybe they can vote to put themselves in it, I don't know. But that's the things we should find out.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Anything else that we need to talk about in general public session?
Captain Fowler's here for something,
I
maybe to
thought-
show us his new pants.
Are you,
I'm on my own time here, so I'm not.
Oh, you are, okay.
Yeah, but thank you for recognizing me. I appreciate that, Mr.
Are we gonna get
President.
we're gonna get
I appreciate
a bill for Bermudas for all the troops over there, or just,
that. What's that?
are we gonna get a bill for the costume, for the pants, or is that just a one-time?
I wanted to see if I could get as good looking as you, but apparently I got a long way to go, so I'll work on it.
Thank
though.
you.
You're welcome.
okay, then let's go in.
I
Go ahead.
thought, I see an introduction of,
Yep.
but you were already talking to her
Yep.
and asking her.
Okay, we go into this work session, and let me introduce everybody to a new HR person who started Monday. It's Wynette Degroot. Wynette,
Yeah,
not Wynette, Wynette, okay.
thank you.
Any comments that you would like to make regarding your new position as to what you've done the last couple of days?
Well, definitely the first few days have been very, very interesting. And the first day I actually went down to many of the departments and met many of the employees and the department heads. But just getting settled in and just working with Deb as far as kind of where everything is and no, just getting my feet wet, and I think we have some great things that we can accomplish, and would like to talk to the commissioners at some point about goals for the county and goals
Mhm.
for for HR and just, I think, a lot of ground setting details to be ironed out, to be able to move forward, and along with a lot coming up with negotiations and very busy times ahead.
All right. I believe we have some policies, handbook that go out to membership that we waited for you to take and review and
Yep,
and-
Debbie.
and come up with a recommendation.
Yep, Deb gave those to me yesterday, and I will be reviewing those over the next few days.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll have those to give to you by next week so that we can move forward with those.
Okay. Anybody got any questions?
Yeah, I'd like to say something. I'd like to welcome the new HR Director.
Thank you.
I personally look forward to work with you, and she comes well qualified.
Thank you.
Okay, and that's true for the whole board.
Thanks.
We feel
Appreciate it. I'm very excited.
we got somebody that's well qualified, so that's good. I would hope that you would review all the union contracts.
Right, oh, absolutely.
And be ready for that, as well as the board. Now, each of you have a copy
I get this
of
this
all
morning
three, right?
on my desk.
Okay. Please read through it, and if you have any changes to make. My goal in the past was trying to get all these contracts somewhat uniform as much as possible. I realize different department heads have different things going on, overtime and shift differentials and all kinds of things. But if we can get some of those kind of unified at vacation time, or not vacation time, but holidays and so forth, if we can try to move them to be more uniform, I think it'd be better for everyone.
Yes, yeah. And to have the consistency to be able to implement all of those would definitely behoove the employees, the department heads, and the commissioners, for sure. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. In the past week or so, I mentioned that we need some kind of a plan for the county complex. These are some of my ideas, and I've asked that you take a look at these. And if you've got some other items that need to be addressed, I identified them in short-range plan and a long-range plan. And just quickly, I think I went through this 2 or 3 weeks ago, but under the long-range plan, I think we need to develop a use for county property. We need to complete the Mountain View community building landscape. I think we need to schedule timber sales at least every other year. Evaluate other sources of income from the farm, from Mountain View. I think we need to demo old county buildings that have no further use. Evaluate the possibility of solar power for the complex. Evaluate purchasing center. Review directional signs on a complex. Right now, I don't believe we have a sign out on what's the road out here?
71?
Water Village?
171, that directs people to the new Mountain View. Something that we haven't done, and I mentioned that before too, and that is to survey the county boundary lines to make sure people are not encroaching upon us. Something was mentioned that if we look at other people that surround our property, we may be able to come up with a review of the boundary lines. I think we need to review the forestry plan so that we are updated on that. Pursue cooperative extension move to the complex, whether we do it or not. It's not, I don't think it's a dead issue yet. Health coverage participation, whether, I know Howie brought up a question about people that can't afford the health plan that we presently have. They can't afford the 20%. Should we be looking at something else that's available to them? And then an IT data collection system. So those are some of the, could be long range, could be short range, depending on how you look at it. And then I got some short range. So if you take a look at that, and we'll give you a copy of that also, to see if other things should be added. It's long overdue. I don't believe we've ever had any kind of a future plan for the complex. So this may be an initial start. Okay, under the work session, you got anything else that you want to bring up to discuss this morning?
Oh, we have the non-public minutes that we should be accepting.
Okay.
Or rejecting.
Did you get those?
Yeah, I have, can I go downstairs and grab them?
Okay. Do you have any other thing to?
No.
Okay. Okay, we're just going to take a 5-minute recess so that Asha can go downstairs and get a copy of non-public minutes of last week.
Can I have a copy of the
15% of whatever that was went to the Huggins Hospital, 20% went to Mountain View, 12% went to Wentworth Douglas Nurses Alumni, 6% went to the American Cancer Society, 1% to Stratford County YMCA, 6% to the New Hampshire Humane Society, and that's all that's on this particular document. But
How much is left?
don't know.
We don't know it.
It's just percentages.
Now, a trust fund is, it works
Yeah, well,
by-
it's a Dube fund. I've been calling it a trust fund, but
Okay.
it's
So the fund, what do? Use the money that's in it, what money is made from that money you use, or you can just take the money out as needed?
we have the money in a CD.
No, his
Are
question
you
is,
working
are
on
we
the
using the
interest?
principal or are we using the interest?
Exactly.
We don't know the answer to that.
Don't know that.
Or I don't know the answer to that.
Now, wasn't it just reported that the Doobie Fund was to be used for educational purposes?
No, no, there's no, Howie said, and there's no there's
There's
nothing,
no strings attached on it.
no restrictions.
Well, but that's my question, that's what was stated today. But I believe within the last month,
Yes,
it was reported by Mr. Chandler that the Doobie Fund was to be used for educational purposes of the nursing staff. And it's
I don't-
clearly on there, I believe that was even discussed by you, Commissioner Babson, about trying to get people who work over at the nursing home to further their education and using that money from the Doobie Fund. So this is what, I mean, it kind of keeps changing
I don't,
every meeting what the purpose of it is supposed to be, or to be used for.
yeah,
Well, he
my-
came back also, Mr. Brown, and said that he was, on one of them, he was confused for the use. I can't tell you whether it was that one or the other one, but that's something that we ought to go downstairs or get Ann to look up for us in the registry of deeds. I would think it would be in there.
July 3rd.
you got another copy?
No, you need to approve it and sign up. I have 2 other ones.
You have 2 others? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me, could I read those?
Yeah, I have April 24th and I have July 10th.
This is the one last week.
One set there, we only got two of one set.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to look at last week's non-public?
You got them right here, right?
Yes. You have some changes to make to that?
Well, I'm gonna make a motion when the time comes.
Okay. I question that section here, but. Do you have other minutes that we still need to look at? Past minutes?
I don't have them with me.
But we have others?
We have,
Okay.
yeah.
And these, the non-public, were all sealed, right?
Yes.
What we're looking at is minutes, non-public minutes that have taken place in the past. Commissioner Kenney is trying to get all the minutes up to date. And these happen to be July, well, one of them is July 3rd, but another one is July 10th and April 24th.
Are we done with July 3rd, 2013?
No, not quite yet.
He's just reading it.
Okay.
If you want more time to do that, those are non-public minutes. We can approve them after we have public input. Because that doesn't go to the public anyway unless we want to release them.
Okay, well, there's a
Or
couple
do you
of
want to?
corrections in here we should make. Not major.
No.
I'll make a motion that we hold back the release of July.
Well, they were
We're
sealed
not
already.
releasing
All we're doing
anything.
is...
We just have to
Oh,
approve
okay.
them.
Just approving
Just
them,
read,
okay.
approve, and
Well,
sign
there's
them.
got to be a couple of corrections I think need to be made that we need to talk about.
Okay.
And all the three sets?
Hmm?
And all the three sets? Because you have three different sets.
No, just that
Yeah,
one.
just that one.
So we can approve the other two?
No, we haven't got there yet.
We haven't discussed those yet.
Okay.
All right, then what's that one dated? April 24th?
Yep.
You got corrections to that one?
No, I make a motion, we keep, well, we don't have to do anything, do we? Keep
Just
them
approve them.
closed. Keep them. Yes, I approve, now make a motion, we approve the minutes of, the non-public
Non-public.
minutes of April 24th.
Okay. I'll second it. Further discussion?
Do we have to sign them?
Yep.
Yes, we do. We can't discuss them
All
because
in
it's
favor?
non-public.
Did you say
So
April
I will ask,
April?
call for the motion.
24th?
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Seal,
Um,
just need to approve.
Any further discussion? No, we can't discuss them. All those in support of the motion to approve the minutes of April 24th? Non-public
Aye.
minutes?
Aye.
And so ordered. Now let's look at July.
Remember, we were looking for a minute date that we do public and non-public, and didn't work out, so I'm doing them now.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a well, I have another set of non-public
We have
minutes here
another
for
one.
last week that I feel are far more complete than the ones that are here. We can discuss it after you've read it.
This is the July, are we going to do the July 3rd?
Those we'll do later, okay? That's non-public, right?
Yeah, but he just put two
Okay, let's look at,
things.
what's the date on these? July 10th.
July 10th.
Okay, where is the July 10th? I mean,
I just gave it.
yeah, but
I just
didn't we
gave
have,
it to
didn't
you.
we
Right
have a
here.
set?
Right here.
Didn't we have a set? Where is the other one?
He's got the other one.
typo there?
No, I don't like the word fire, or do they have terminate?
I don't agree with those minutes. In the first place, we had the minute taker is doing the minutes. Commissioner Babson only take minutes when I was absent. And we were going to have minutes from her. She didn't do it, and I took the minutes, and I don't think that he should take the minutes.
Do you see anything wrong with Commissioner Babson's minutes?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you said
that you
you
can't-
you didn't want to have the back and forward. You gave specific direction what you want, and it was that motion, and that is what I did. So every time when it is something, it reflects him, he is going to take the minutes. I think it's wrong.
No,
Mr. Chairman?
no, go ahead.
We've listened to Commissioner Kenney for the last, I would guess, 2 months. Absolutely refused to take the minutes. And when the minute taker left, I took it upon myself to take notes and write these minutes. They're far more complete than her minutes. And I'd like to make a motion that we accept my minutes of July 10th.
I oppose because I don't think it is accurate. So
You got her minutes?
I
Yes, I do.
don't even think it is legal to do that. So we have now, Commissioner Babson has 2 positions now. He's the vice chair and he's the clerk. So you want to have it, get it. No, I don't accept that. This is nonsense, the way we conduct business here. It was the minute taker's job to do it. She left. Why you take minutes? She didn't even tell you if she's going to bring the minutes or not.
I guess the ultimate
It's
question
no
is...
question.
Well, do you have anything wrong with the minutes that he took?
Are they inaccurate?
I have,
Are they
yes,
accurate
they
or
are.
not accurate?
I have the minutes here, and that's it. Now we're going back into minutes. I thought that was over. I had it already before that one commissioner had 2 positions.
Your opportunity, well,
I have
Let's-
it, and
let's-
that is what it is.
okay, let's put it this way. This board can change the minutes of a meeting as long as it's majority or unanimous. And I guess I'm asking, do you have problems with the minutes that Commissioner Babson took?
You said the board can, he wrote the whole set of minutes, 1 page long, but you said last week you don't want it back and forward in it. You just want to have the motion in it. And I said, yes, I will do it. She was going to do it. She didn't do it. She left. So I did it. Why suddenly is he coming up with a set of minutes? It's
Mr.
crazy.
Chairman?
Go ahead, Mr. Babson.
Would it be proper for me to change my motion to amend the minutes of Clerk Kenney's with the entire minutes of my minutes?
No, it's not acceptable.
To amend, to add to the...
To amend her minutes out and my amendment, and make my minutes the amendment, and make them good for the meeting.
So Commissioner Babson, are you going to take every week non-public minutes? Is that what you're going to do?
Pardon me?
No.
Are you going to take every week non-public minutes?
I think you have a new clerk sitting next to you, Commissioner Kenney.
Yeah, okay, so why did you do it last week?
Because you said for the last 2 months, you absolutely refused to do it. How many times did we hear you say you were tape recording them so that the new person could do them? Excuse me, you asked me a question. You didn't let anybody know that you were going to do the minutes. The lady left here, we were pretty sure she wasn't going to do the minutes, so I took it upon myself to do the minutes. And I'm making the motion that my minutes be the official minutes of this committee.
And why didn't you take the minutes of July 3rd then? If you were
I
going
didn't
to
feel
take the
like it.
minutes? Yeah, okay, so you only, when it affects you, then you're taking it. I think it's totally illegal.
I'll ask you again,
What's going
Commissioner Kenney, do you see anything wrong with his minutes?
Yeah, because there's also talk in what shouldn't even be into non-public, that discussion, what you also put there in. If we make a motion, go into non-public, it is specific, and we only talk and discuss that, what we make a motion for, and that didn't even happen here, because look, other stuff is in it. I think it's illegal, and I'm not going for it.
I'll move the question, Mr. Chairman.
Well, first of all, I'll second it. And then you can move the question.
Move the question.
All those in support of using Commissioner Babson's minutes of the July 10th non-public meeting be approved as presented.
Absolutely not, it's illegal.
All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay.
I said it's illegal. No.
Okay.
I make
So
another
voted.
motion? Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we open the minutes of the unseal the minutes of the non-public meeting of July 10th.
The minutes are sealed, and
What he's making a motion.
it is
seconding it?
it is
What?
personal issues, and you cannot release those.
What Commissioner
Yeah, you
Babson
can-
is doing is making a motion to release the non-public minutes of
But
July
you're
10th.
gonna talk about personal issues there? You can't release that.
Somebody
You-
needs to
you-
second it, Mr. Chairman.
Well,
You cannot release
let me
what you
read it.
wanna do.
Let me read it back again.
He just wanna cover up himself, that's all he wants to do.
Commissioner Kenney, either you keep your mouth shut about these
Okay.
minutes, or you vote. You don't tell people what's in the minutes.
I didn't say what is in the minutes, did I say that?
I thought you said something.
Yeah, well, talk about personal issues, so the county will get sued.
Okay, I've asked Commissioner Kenney at
Okay,
least
what-
twice, if not three times, if she had any problems with Commissioner Babson's minutes of the non-public session on
And I
July
told you it
10th.
was not accurate.
And you said it's not accurate. I will second the motion to release the minutes. I see no reason why. It was things that happened in non-public. We did talk about between the jail and the farm, as far as security.
And that turned out that wasn't an issue, real issue.
And it wasn't a non-public, nothing was said where the cameras would be going. It was just a case that we needed a little bit of security on the farm. And it's regards to the minute taker, previous minute taker.
Yeah, and that's what he said is not correct, because there was no vote
Which
taken.
one? Which one's not correct?
Here. That's a pertinent lie, what he put there in. So, I have another record, so I will bring mine in while we discuss this issue.
Okay, I'll call a question for releasing the non-public minutes of July 10th. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed, nay.
No,
Okay.
it is inaccurate, it is
It will be
illegal.
recorded as a 2-to-1 vote. And I so declare that the motion carried. Want to sign that?
Sure.
I want that the record show that the minutes are inaccurate.
I asked you what was wrong with it, and you didn't have any
No.
comment.
Comment, you said I
Well-
couldn't discuss it in public. This is all wrong here. There was nothing taken. This was about the minute taker, that she was going to take notes only.
I think
And
that's,
I was going to correct it
I
with
think
that.
that's maybe where we disagree.
But let's go on with the political games.
Nothing political about it.
Yeah.
This is what happened at the meeting.
This is not what happened.
I guess we'll let the general public
That is
decide.
exactly when you don't have a record, you see? And it is not recorded when you don't have a record.
Okay. Any further minutes that we need to discuss?
We have the 24, not discussed, but No, the other one, the July 3rd.
We did that.
No, I don't think we did that.
July 3rd, we did already. I marked it
No,
passed.
you mark it, but nobody signed it.
And
But
July
I don't
10th.
think we did
That's why I
it.
said there was no place to sign it.
We did it 24. There was a motion made and
20
approved the 24th.
23rd,
But on July 3rd, we never did that. And there is somewhere to sign here because there are 3 lines there.
did you change that?
Yeah, I just said that that's one of the things that we should change. Well, we can't discuss it here. That's why I said, that's the ones we wanted to, I requested that we wouldn't talk about.
So you didn't say that?
No, that's, it. No, I did, but that's not what the discussion was about. Very simple, it wasn't a bad deal, it was just, that's not what it was about.
Other than that?
They're fine.
They're fine?
Yep. And your correction.
I don't, I don't understand. I know we can't talk about it, but I guess I didn't hear that.
It's over, we were talking.
With Cut.
I don't know, maybe he said it. You know, we have no original record to go
That's
by.
fine now.
That's what she said. Who make this statement?
Jason?
Jason made a statement. Maybe you
Yeah.
should ask him what he said. I don't remember if he said it, or,
I don't remember him saying that either.
I don't know.
Can we approve those minutes?
Is it Jason or Will? Because there were 2 people, so I have no idea who made that statement. Do you want me to take it out? Because I don't think,
I don't-
I don't think it have to be in it.
I don't think so either. Do you want to make a motion that we accept those minutes with the exception of that
Yeah.
one line?
So you want me to just cross the line and take it out?
I think-
Because I don't know who said it.
I think that would be proper.
So I make a motion to approve the non-public minutes of July 3rd, 2013.
Do I hear a second?
Second
Second?
discussion.
Any further discussion?
Was my correction, it hasn't been even entertained, I don't believe.
So we took that out.
Yeah.
And
it out.
it said access
I
to
think it
children
should
in the
be
maintenance building.
be asked, Will, not told, Will.
Yeah,
Um,
So he put something here.
Yeah, how do you want,
That's the, what is this? I remember that you said that.
okay.
Is it not your statement? You have
No,
something there?
it's not.
But I remember that you said that.
What does it pertain to?
We cannot discuss that in public, so we cannot say what it pertains to. We only have to see if a statement is accurate or not. Because I remember that he said that.
That's quickly what I said. Not a big deal.
Okay, so those are signed.
I can't read your writing.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I got this. Possibilities of the other managers.
Yeah,
Do you approve?
remember that was the discussion,
We need to show that in motion.
you don't go into the
We need to
barn
have
by
it.
yourself.
The approval of all the
Okay.
minutes needs to be in there.
Do you agree with that change?
I don't know what you wrote here.
Well, accept it the way it is and I'll
I don't know what you wrote down.
I'll make it so legible.
I remember that was exactly what you said. So I don't know why you want to change that.
Okay, it's not a big deal, let's accept the minutes.
Okay. Motion's been made.
For the July 3rd, 2013.
You got the motion and the second?
Yeah, Babson seconded.
Yes, Ms. Kenney moved to approve it with changes. Mr. Babson
Okay.
seconded it.
Okay.
It's been a markup of the copy.
So
All
all
those-
in favor.
Any further discussion? Then all those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so voted.
And this-
Okay.
let's see. It's
Now are we all done
17.
with some catching up? You still got a couple more to do for next week?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I guess we're at a point for non-public, for,
Non-public.
for public comment. We'll get it straight. Yes, Melissa?
As you move through public comment, can I take a look at those non-public meeting minutes that you just released?
Both sets?
What?
There was only one.
No, it's one is
There's only
released.
one that was released. Other public, yes, Damon?
Back about the jail union issue. From the minutes that we read, the previously released non-public minutes, it sounds like you're adding a new union, not the supervisors are joining another union, or the same union, but the regular jail.
My interpretation was they were gonna be joined. There could be something different after the HR director checks with an attorney or whatever.
So we're not getting a new union, probably.
Excuse me?
So your interpretation is we're not getting a whole separate new union. It's
No.
the supervisors are joining the union with the regular staff.
That was in public meeting, was it not? We discussed that. The gentleman came in from the union. That was public, wasn't it? It wasn't when the union man was here?
I never heard of it.
I don't remember.
Okay.
What was your question in reference?
I guess we can't really comment on that any further
We don't know anymore, Tim.
until we find out more information. Any other public, yes?
Do you know, the dollar figure on the overtime pay, shift differential, and back pay that is owed?
No, I don't. Overtime differential. No, I don't.
Overtime pay, shift differentials, and back pay.
The financial officer is looking at that. She was given that information last week.
She's on vacation.
But apparently someone's gone to the U.S. Department of Labor about this? Why has this gone on for such a long period of time if someone was forced to go to the United States Department of Labor?
I think it was just brought to our attention maybe within the last 2 weeks or last week. It hasn't been going on. It's new to me anyway. I'm not sure if other members of the commission knew about it.
Do you know the difference between a Part A and B salary contract versus across-the-board wage increase?
Across-the-board wage increase last year was 40 cents.
What's the difference between a Part A and B salary contract and an across-the-board wage increase?
I'm not sure what A and B stands for.
Apparently, this was discussed with the union representative, Mr. Banjo.
Yeah?
I'm just asking if you could clarify the difference between a Part A and B salary contract and an across-the-board wage increase.
Okay, everybody got a across-the-board 40 cents. The union from the jail went to the delegation and got an increase for the correctional officers of 50 cents. That was for the correctional officers, not for the supervisors. That may be the A and B. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Well, it's in the non-public minutes of June 19th.
A and B?
Yes. Part A and B salary contract instead of an across-the-board wage increase.
Okay, then I think that's what it means. The union went to the delegation to get the additional 50 cents to bring them up to standards that other counties are receiving. You can go back and look at the delegation minutes to see that.
Can you explain what the settlement and the amount of the settlement agreement that was made with the estate case?
With the estate case?
Mhm.
Well, that must be the tooth guy. Molten.
Oh. No, I don't. All I know was that what was in the minutes, that it was a reasonable, it was paid by Primex. That was what we got from the Primex attorney, saying that it was a reasonable settlement.
But in a estate case, that's usually when someone has passed.
He has.
That's right.
Is this part of like a negligence settlement type thing, or?
Depends on what side of the case you're on.
The estate had so many days in order to bring that up again, and they were within that time period to bring that settlement up.
But there was an agreement with the state on it?
It was between Primex and the estate.
Well, no, it says, and reach an agreement with the state, not the e-state, but the state.
Well, that's a typo.
It's a typo then, it should have been estate.
Should have been the estate.
Should have been estate.
And it is clearly a conflict of interest to allow the HR generalist to have any dealings with any jail issue. And I think the Board of Commissioners better be extremely careful, because allowing the HR generalist to be on an ongoing, it's most of this non-public minutes of June 19th is with the HR generalist dealing with jail issues. There's clearly a conflict of interest, and it should be no longer tolerated. You can't, but, I don't know, is this business how they've always done it here in county? It's clearly a conflict. How can that be allowed?
Where's the conflict?
Where's the conflict?
That's what I'm asking you. You're saying it's a conflict. What do you clarify your reason for conflict?
You have two family members.
Okay.
That's clearly a conflict. You have one person who, I don't know, appears that, they have a lot of authority going around here in the county, and they're on an ongoing basis dealing with issues that have direct impact or direct correlation to their family member. That you can't, there was, what was it, last year, there was a grievance filed, and the HR individual refused to recuse herself from the grievance, although the other family member was involved. Clearly, it's a conflict of interest, and it needs to stop.
Your point is taken. We'll take it under consideration. We now have a new HR person, and that person will handle it. Any
That's
further?
all fine and good as long as this HR director remains in employment with the county. as we all know,
That's true.
it's like a revolving door
It's
around
not
here.
necessary, Mr. Brown.
Pardon me?
I just said, that's not necessary. We
Well,
know
it may
what the
not be
situation-
necessary, Mr. Commissioner Babson, but it is the fact.
Thank
Okay,
you.
anybody else got any public input? Yes, Damon.
Can you explain what a shift differential is?
Shift differential is if they work a night shift or if they work a weekend shift, they get extra pay for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that correct, Captain?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any further public comment? Yes, Melissa.
I start out light, relatively light. Was the wood processor put out to bid?
Was the wood processor put out to bid?
What-
Can you
did-
answer that?
Did the farm have to do an RFP for that?
It was, I don't know how many people it went to or if it went to anybody, but Will got a quote before we purchased it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'd like to discuss something that's in the non-public meeting minutes that you released.
We'll listen to your
Like I
comments.
said, it is inaccurate.
I'm addressing the chair, thank you.
Yeah, I will say it is inaccurate. He just put something in.
We'll listen to your comments. We may not make a comment.
Okay. It says that because not everyone here has seen these, obviously, but it says, during the discussion, it was discovered that Commissioner Kenney had been covertly taping the meeting in direct violation of a vote taken by the board about a month ago to end this practice. The three commissioners engaged in a very heated discussion about the situation. Commissioner Kenney insisted she needs to record the meetings regardless of the board's vote, so she would be able to make corrections to the minutes. If I understand this correctly, the non-public meetings have continued to be audio recorded after you decided not to do it anymore?
Well,
We only know of one time, and that was this last meeting. It could have been going on before, we don't know.
Was the tape recorder located in a location where everybody could see it? Was it on the
No.
table?
No.
Where was the tape recorder?
It was on the other side of Commissioner Kenney's iPad where neither the chairman or I could see
I
it.
didn't have my iPad with me. I just take the recorder out and I was trying to fix it.
What-
Like I
what-
said, the recorder was not working
What happened? There was a beep, beep, beep,
because it was not working. I was trying
and
to fix it.
somebody said, "What's that noise? Is that somebody's cell phone?"
No, I asked whoever had the cell phone to please turn it off.
Okay. And the recording secretary said, "No, this was Asha Kenney's recorder."
Okay. So is it fair to assume then employees of the county and elected officials have been recorded without their permission or their knowledge? Which is a direct violation of the wiretapping law?
That's right.
That is pure nonsense, because we were always recording the non-public minutes. And I have it in other record that it was a discussion that the new minute taker was going to take only notes. That was a discussion about.
Your point
And
is well taken.
We have an employee, what we have here, the former HR director. She was taping for years non-public minutes. And it was nothing taped. I put it up and I was trying it out and it was not working.
It's been stated several times in the public
You know what?
session.
Okay, wait a minute.
If I could, Chairman
Go ahead.
Sorensen, please. It's been stated several times in public session that you are no longer going to be taping the non-public sessions because you got some advice that that was a bad idea.
That's correct.
So that leaves the public, employees, and other elected officials and visitors under the impression that they are not being audio taped.
That's correct.
So in the minutes, it also says that Commissioner Babson again asked Commissioner Kenney to resign her seat because she had no right not to abide by the vote of the board. I'd like to know if you're going to pursue any sort of criminal investigation.
You know what?
Or if this has been referred to
You
any
know,
law
what we're
enforcement
talking
agency.
about is, again, a witch hunt is all nonsense. And that was not a talk in non-public session.
We'll hold comment on that,
Again, it's a setup.
unless,
Could I ask Commissioner Babson if he would like to hold comment on that, or
sure.
is that?
I
fair?
don't intend to pursue it. The fact that that the commissioner didn't want to abide by the board is clear enough to me that she doesn't care what goes on here. She's going to do what she wants.
Okay, no further comment. Go ahead. You got another one?
Earlier, I asked about the non-public notes being stored downstairs.
Right.
Commissioner Babson was going to look. So now I have double concern. If they're not in the drawer downstairs, the notes, or no one's allowed to see them, we don't know if they even exist. Where are the tapes?
You want to answer the?
It wasn't my day to watch the tapes. I have no idea where they are.
And I would be especially interested to know how many other sessions have been recorded in the last 2 months beyond the beeping that you heard. So there's a lot of questions, and seems somebody could pursue an investigation.
We made a motion, and I have to go back and look at the minutes.
About
It was
2
like,
months ago.
yeah, 5 or 6 weeks ago,
More than that.
that we would not record non-public minutes on a recorder, because that recorder could go somewhere else, and then all of a sudden it gets released.
Right.
We have enough problems with stuff going into the papers and on camera as to what's being taken place. It's leaked out, don't know how, but it appears in the public domain. So that's why we made a motion that none of the non-public minutes would be on tape. And each of the commissioners would take notes as to what took place so that
No,
when
you
we had
didn't.
the minutes,
You didn't say
we
that.
could then correct them.
Nope, you
It's up
didn't
to
say
us
that.
to correct the non-public minutes. Got further questions?
I would like to thank Commissioner Babson for doing minutes. It's 5 months since the clerk quit the minutes, and
Well, I brought
when
last
someone
week-
else has prepared them, then she yells and says it's her responsibility, but if it was her responsibility, why haven't they been done? It's very confusing for the public.
Yeah, well, last
Watching.
week, some minutes came in this week.
Okay,
Not to detract from that, but thank you.
You're welcome.
okay. Any further public comments? Then I'd close.
It's-
Yes, Ed?
We're kind of missing the elephant in the room.
The what?
We're missing the elephant in the room, which is the non-public minutes that were not sealed correctly. What has been done so this doesn't reoccur? Because now people who work for the county, their names are out in the public now when they shouldn't have been. So what process is set in place so you can prevent this from happening again?
We'll seal the minutes after every meeting.
So you're going to continue to do it the way you did and just hope that they're sealed? What's the
No,
process?
there
What's your
would be a
second and
motion.
first steps?
When the motion is made regarding the minutes that they be sealed, that's when they're sealed. The following meeting, then we would approve the minutes as sealed.
So you admit these minutes were not sealed properly
No,
for July 19th?
absolutely
We're
not.
not admitting
And then-
anything.
Absolutely not. I stand here, sit right here and tell you, as far as I can recall, they were sealed.
They
And
were
I
not
do
sealed.
too. And because you questioned, I believe it was you, questioned whether they were sealed or not, we decided to release them.
Well, my legal department had to issue you a 91A request.
That's true.
So
Your
basically
attorney,
forced you to release them, because you said they were sealed. So you could not prove to me that they were properly sealed in writing. So that's why, I just want to make that clear that that's the case here. I just want to make sure that you have some type of a process to stop this from happening again.
well, let me say this, that when we have our minutes, when we have that meeting, we make a motion to seal them. The public doesn't know whether we made that motion or not. It's the three of us that make it. Okay? You understand what I'm trying to say? Is that the minutes are sealed by the three of us in the non-public session. So the public doesn't know whether they were sealed or not. Okay?
I have a solution. You should have a stepped process. The first person is Commissioner Kenney, because she's responsible for safeguarding the minutes. And perhaps you can have the administrative assistant also check to make sure before you leave the room that they're sealed.
That's correct.
A two-step process.
correct.
It would solve the problem.
Yep.
Number two, months ago, and I can retrieve the videotape. Jason Johnson sat here and reported, it had to be 6 to 8 months ago, that during a time when he was behind of he didn't have enough employees, corrections officers, and that there were people covering for other people. So this mention about back pay was mentioned months ago, that there were back pay that was not.
Not the same issue.
That's not the same issue.
That's not the same issue?
No, it was not.
No.
Okay, I stand corrected. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, Melissa, then we're going to quit.
I love the eye roll, thank you. The non-public checklist that I gave you.
Yes.
Have you given that any other consideration? Because that would give you your procedure for
Yep.
dealing with non-public
Yep.
minutes. So,
I still have it, quite honestly, here to print out, Melissa.
One more, Mr. Brown.
I don't think it's the intent of RSA 91A to seal each and every non-public session.
That's right, we don't have to.
Okay, because that's what you said, just a minute ago, you said you were just gonna seal every non-public meeting.
You're right, you're correct. We don't have to, you're correct.
And it shouldn't be done either. to
I guess
seal
it
everything
depends
off.
what's in those minutes.
Well, of course, but to just blatantly say that we're gonna seal every single non-public meeting.
You're
I don't
correct.
believe is-
You're correct.
Thank you.
Okay, we're out of public input. Anything further to bring up today?
Yep. I received the email from Mason and Rich.
From who?
Mason and Rich.
Mason and Rich,
It said
okay.
that it's the audit company,
Yep,
and I will print it out.
okay.
And they say they didn't do the audits from 2010, 11, and 12.
Did they give you a reason why?
Because like I told you, they're not doing municipalities. So they
Okay.
didn't do the audits. I have that email. They went back and did that research and went in the
Okay,
computer.
would you,
And John Lyford is also, I talked to him, he's not an auditor. He is
Okay.
just preparing financial statements. And you said that is the law, that you need to have an audit company coming in, and then another second audit company is coming in to audit the
the
first
law
one.
is to have a second company check on the figures of the first one, correct?
Okay, so do you have that RSA? Or
No. Would
So
you check with other
what-
counties to see how
I
they handle
already
it?
checked with other counties, and
Yep.
they never heard of it, so they want to have the RSA, what Carroll County is working with, because the other counties told me that the financial director is preparing all the financial statements, and they hire one audit company that
Yep.
audits that. And I thought that that is the way
Okay.
it should be.
Would
But
you,
here you said there is one company, you said Mason and Rich, and then there's another company coming, and I still
to
don't know.
audit that company?
And I still don't know who the other company is, who is the
That
second
was put out
company.
on RFP.
Yeah, but
and It hasn't come back yet, as far as I know.
But you do it for years. I mean, how can you put 2010 out on an RFP? It must have already been done 2010 and 11.
Well, the
So what-
information is still there.
So who is
Would
the
you
second
check-
company?
Would you check with Rockingham County to see the process that they use?
I'll
My
let
understanding is that there's very few people, very few organizations that do audits.
Auditing.
Yeah, and
public
one is
accounting
not
firms
Mason
that
and
do
Rich.
Municipalities.
It's
That do
Melody.
municipalities,
Yep.
correct?
I think there was just,
Melody and
Mr.
something.
Daniel told us there was only two in the state, and one of them is this Mason and Rich, and apparently they're not doing it any
I
longer.
think they will
Okay.
be.
All right, would you check with Rockingham County to find out the process that they use?
Yeah, I can find out the process, but I'd like to
Okay.
know who is the second company that does the
We
audit
don't-
here.
It was
But
put
how
out,
do you don't know? 2010 is done. I mean, all the other years audit needs to,
all I
has to
can
be
say
done.
is that it was put out on an RFP to find out. Now, the law was changed. I don't know when that law was changed, that we had to have an auditing firm audit the person or the company that did the initial audit. I don't know when that law changed. I think maybe it was 2 years ago. But, okay, go ahead, a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second the motion. Any further discussion on the motion? If not, all those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. And so voted.
Can you
you put in a time, 11, 12?